beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm reviewing two very special whistles, and that is the High D whistles from Burke. Now I have an aluminium and a brass to show you today, and these have come to me from bigwhistle.co.uk. For those of you that don't know, I talk about Big Whistle a lot here on the channel. It's an amazing website that holds stock of a huge selection of incredible whistles. They're based in the UK as well, so if you're getting whistles from outside the EU or outside the UK, you usually have to pay taxes on those that come in, but you don't have to do that from bigwhistle.co.uk. So it is a great place if you're in the UK or even in Europe really to get whistles from. Do check out their website. I have linked it in the description down below, and they were kind enough to send me these two Burke High D whistles as well. Now I've had one quick play of these whistles, and also the low D Burke whistles, which I've actually bought to show you guys as well because I absolutely loved these whistles. But yeah, let me show you some close-ups and I'll play them for you, and you can judge for yourself whether these might be the next whistles for you. Now you can see these whistles come well packaged. They have a plastic outer sheet, and if I open up the inside, you'll see we have the whistle in a case, very similar to the Lear padded cases. We also have some information here on a sheet, and this tells you everything about how to care for your whistles, keep them in top condition. It's a really useful bit of information. There's also a little business card included so you can get in touch with the maker if you should need to, or you want to check out the rest of their Burke products. If we open the case, you'll also see that the whistle is encased in plastic inside, and that is to make sure everything stays nice and shiny and protected while it's in transit to you. As you can see, this is the brass whistle. It is absolutely gorgeous. And Burke whistles are a little different from other whistles because they come apart in a few different places. I'll show you that now. Being a three-part whistle is actually what gives this whistle its unique, clear and gorgeous sound. You can see if I show you the joint here that we have some tuning options for this whistle, and everything is very professionally finished. It's actually really lightweight, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, I really like that feature. If you struggle with the weight of whistles, this is definitely one for you. You can see the mouthpiece here has the brass details inscribed on the back. We have a beautiful molded mouthpiece that actually comes across the front of the whistle as well. That's a very unique style of mouthpiece. I've not seen anything like that before. The sort of block is part of the piece that you blow through here rather than being separate, which I think is really interesting. We have a nice neat blade. Again, this is sort of overhanging here at the top, which is a really interesting feature. You'll notice some small marks, and that is the tarnishing of the brass. If you're not familiar with brass whistles, they do tarnish and patina as you play them. So you'll see these marks already on this whistle. And it's advisable to wipe them down with a dry, maybe microfiber cloth or something very soft after you've played them, but they're going to tarnish. There's nothing you can do about that. It's not a problem, it doesn't affect the playability of the whistle, it is just a feature of brass whistles. Now to assemble this whistle, you take the lower body section and you push straight into the top section until you hear a click. There's a little ridge on the body here that tells you when this mouthpiece or this joint piece is in place. You'll see that we have a nice straight bore feature here. The finger holes are nicely spaced, close together. Obviously it's a high D whistle and not overly large, which I'm really pleased about. As we get to the top, this is the tuning section. So you can slide the mouthpiece into the joint here until you hear another click. And this is the part of the whistle that you use for tuning purposes. You can see there's a good slide here as well. There is some information on the instruction leaflet that tells you how to keep this nice and greased so that your slide feature remains nice and lubricated rather than seizing up. That's not what you want from your whistle. The aluminium whistle obviously has all the same features. We have some details inscribed in the back here, the very professional finish at the front, the joint as we had on the brass whistle, everything very much the same that you can see here. The only one observation I do have is that the aluminium whistle is considerably lighter than the brass whistle, and the brass whistle itself was quite light. So if you are looking for whistles that you can really take anywhere, they have no weight to them, they're really light. These really are great whistles for those looking for lighter whistles to play. So before we go any further, I'm going to give these a little play for you so you can hear how gorgeous these whistles sound. So, as you can hear, these both have unique sounding voices. The material of the whistle does change the tone of the whistle somewhat. As for hitting the high notes, these are actually really easy to hit the high notes. They are a little loud as you get to the top, but these are session whistles. They're not necessarily designed for playing in the house. They are professional musicians' instruments. They're made to be played in front of an audience as part of a group. They're loud and proud whistles. I really love the clarity of the tone that these whistles have. I love the weight of these whistles. I personally prefer the brass as it's slightly heavier. The aluminium is very, very lightweight, and for me it feels a little on the delicate side. I'm sure it's really sturdy, but personally I prefer the ones with a little more weight to them, and that would be the brass. I love the look of both. I imagine the aluminium will stay a little more shiny than the brass, but I have no problem with patina on instruments. I think it kind of gives them character. As for the sound of the voice, I probably prefer the aluminium sound to the brass. The brass is a little sweeter, the aluminium is a little crisper, but the clarity of this whistle actually lends itself to the crispness of the sound quite a lot. There's no texture or gravel to the voice of these whistles, and I really, really love that. They're nicely balanced, which means there's no heavier weight on any particular part of the whistle, and I think that's due to the joint in the middle. It gives them a lovely balance, so they're really easy to hold on to. You don't feel them slipping away or wobbling at all, which I really like. Half holes and ornaments on these are really easy. Some whistles, it can be a little bit difficult to hit half holes cleanly, but these don't have that problem. There is a reasonable strength on the cross-fingered note, which is the C natural, although personally I prefer the tone and sound of the half-holed C natural on these whistles. There's a great balance in volume across a lot of the notes. The bell note, or the low D in particular, has a really good strength to it, and that is very impressive. And the tuning, as always on professional instruments like these, is impeccable. You can fine-tune with this tuning slide. As they've arrived, the tuning slide is really easy to maneuver. You can be very precise with your tuning on these, and there are markers as well that shows you where the whistle will most likely play in tune when it's fully warmed up, so that's really useful. Now these are the session whistles. There are also narrow bore whistles, which will probably sound a little different. They'll potentially be a little quieter, but these are the session variety, and they, as I said, really are great for playing in a place that you want to be heard. Now these whistles retail for around €350, so they are an investment piece. I can definitely recommend them if you're a professional musician and you're going to be playing instruments in a lot of professional settings. These really will not disappoint. They have a beautiful clarity of sound, a lovely balance across the volume of the instrument, and they'll definitely get you heard. Honestly, if you do take that step and make that investment, you won't be disappointed with these whistles. They're very responsive, they're very reliable. One thing I love about these as well is that I haven't found they've clogged at all. I know with some other whistles that I've played, I seem to struggle with MK whistles a little bit with clogging. Obviously there are things you can do about this. You can use surfactants to help stop that clogging process, and I do have a video up here that shows you how to stop your whistles from clogging, but these, as professional and uniquely designed whistles, really don't have that problem, and that's a major plus for me, especially if you're recording or playing live. You don't want your whistles to be clogging up. Now I'm going to play another tune for you on these, just so you can get the full benefit of the gorgeous sound, and then after that I'll pop up a few links so that you can get to know these whistles even better. So that is it for me today on Burke whistles. I hope you folks loved this review of the Brass and Aluminium Session High D whistles. If you did, please do hit that big thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't for more tin whistle tutorials, tips and tricks. And don't forget to hit that bell so you get notifications every time new tutorials come out right here on my YouTube channel. If you'd like to support my channel to help me continue to buy and review whistles, then please do consider hitting the super thanks button below this video or signing up to my Coffee and Patreon pages where you can support me one-off or monthly and you get a load of extras on top of that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Happy whistling, and I'll see you folks again soon for some more tin whistle awesomeness. Bye.